Two humorous nurses would like to acknowledge the true custodians of the land in which we record our podcast, the Yorta Yorta people.
We pay our respects to elders past and present and extend our respects to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders listening today. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land.
Two humorous nurses with Kelly and Alicia.
The podcast that wonders if you're that nurse on night shift.
Welcome to Two Humorous Nurses, where we plan to bring you funny, informal, conversational chats about all things nursing.
Today is dun, 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 Nurses Who Kill.
We didn't even practice that.
No. Right. Hit us.
Right. I'm excited for this one. I've got a doozy. I wrote doozy.
I'm pretty sure that's what I wrote on mine too.
I'm curious about how it's going to maybe divide our listeners.
Ooh.
I want to know what people think after this. So, I'm talking about Wendy Ruth Sim, who's a 62-year-old registered nurse who allegedly attempted to murder her husband, Ken. She was a nurse. She's not anymore because she's in jail.
Ooh.
So, her husband Ken was diagnosed with an aggressive form of dementia, and Wendy had been his primary carer for 9 years, right?
That's a long time.
A long time, yeah. He was admitted to Joondalup Health Campus just north of Perth.
Oh, that's where I did my final placement
in
the
really?
ED.
Oh, look out.
Where did she work? Do you know which hospital?
No, I don't know. And I don't know like what kind of nurse she was.
If
or
anyone
how long
knows
she was
this nurse in WA, was she? How old was she? 60 something. She might not have been working if she was a primary carer.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So in January of 2021. So I imagine there are some people out here who might even like listening who might work there or who might have been on the ward when this happened. So he was admitted there for something related to his dementia in January of 2021. And he also had a history of diabetes, right? You know where I'm going with this. His sugars had been well monitored while he was in hospital, naturally, and well controlled on the ward. Allegedly, this is what the prosecution allege, is that Wendy brought insulin into the hospital, injects her dear husband with a massive dose of insulin. I don't know, the details are a bit limited. I could only find news articles and I couldn't, because it hasn't gone to trial yet, there wasn't a huge amount of information. But she leaves, ditches the insulin in a nearby bathroom. This is all allegedly. Police find an insulin pen in a toilet and it's covered in her DNA. Right?
Allegedly.
Allegedly. No, it actually is covered in her DNA. The nurses then, obviously find him comatose and, pop him with some glucagon and he makes a miraculous recovery, right? But 2 months later, he dies from a heart attack.
2 months after the incident.
Yes.
And at the time, did they suspect foul play?
So they interviewed her, the wife, because they found the insulin. I don't know exactly the timeline of events, but I do know. So they initially interviewed her, and then they interviewed her again prior to laying charges, right? Yeah. So obviously they interviewed her, didn't think anything, found the insulin, I'm assuming, and then interviewed her again. Why would we have insulin with your DNA all over it, if you didn't do anything? So then she gets charged, and then the police find her with prescription pills, a will, and a note that they described as akin to a suicide note. And part of the note said, "I can't bear the thought of a court case where I have to convince strangers that I'm not a horrible person." She faces the Supreme Court in April, right? And I actually have the date and time. I found the agenda for court.
Log on.
Oh my God, if it's being live streamed. Oh, okay.
Put it in your calendar.
She's pleading not guilty.
Of course she is.
Yeah. So that it's a trial by jury.
Not guilty for what reason?
Because she doesn't think she is.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming she wants to fight it. She doesn't want to. Yeah. Either. Okay, so this is what makes me wonder, whether she did it or not. If she did it and admitted guilt, she probably would not get off, but I think that I know a lot of the things I was reading about, like, because one person with disabilities is killed by their carer almost every 3 months in Australia, right? I found that fact, and in this article that I was reading, it was talking about how, like, the media is often quick to sympathise with the killer because they're carers for, like, but
can I just, are they claiming that the heart attack that he died of as a result of more insulin? So she just did the insulin too much. How can it be related?
It's not. So they're charging her for attempted murder.
Oh, gotcha.
And she's pleading not guilty. But if that was me, if I had tried to top my husband because I was sick of looking after him, if that's what happened, maybe he was a cunt.
And that's really simplifying it. But 9 years of someone with advanced dementia, if he still lived at home with her and she was the sole carer, that would be
Well, we don't even know if it's
soul-crushing.
advanced dementia. I mean, it could.
But they said aggressive dementia, didn't they?
Oh, yeah, he was actually diagnosed. What did I say? I read it at the top. Oh, yeah, aggressive form of dementia. Yeah. So I suppose he could have been, like, non-verbal and immobile. Like, you don't, yeah. And, I mean, that's the hard thing. Like,
or he could have been, like,
but
asking her a million questions a million times. And not that there's any reason to, there's no excuse to kill somebody. But, like, she obviously needed support for him. And maybe she wasn't, maybe as a nurse she was stubborn and didn't want to take it, or, you know, she didn't want anyone to look after him. Like, we all know what nursing homes are like.
Yeah.
But, and he was, I imagine he was probably around her age too. So he might not have even been. Oh, okay. So he was over 65. Yeah, that's all right.
So that's the thing. Like, I think it's easy to sympathise with her.
Yeah, for sure.
But then when you look at it from his perspective, like, I mean, he may not even know what the fuck's going on.
But that was the person he trusted to look after him.
Absolutely, yeah.
And if you can't look after them, then you get help. You don't kill them.
So absolutely. And so I think about, like, when Mick and I got married, I asked myself, and I don't know, because, you know, sometimes footballers break their necks and then their wives are like,
I always tell Cam, if he ends up in a wheelchair, I'm out. If I have to install a hoist, not happening.
And a ramp. Oh, my God. Yeah, I do think about that. Like, what would happen to him? Like, what would happen if something dreadful happened to him and I'd
find the best nursing home possible.
Oh, my God. And then I think, well, what if something happened to me? And what would his reaction be?
I would like him to give me a large dose of insulin.
You heard it here first.
That's VAD.
Well, that's the thing. And that's, I guess, in this instance, like, I wonder if and, you know, because people with dementia are often like, I want to die.
Yeah.
Just kill me. I want to die. Like, and, you know, you hear that enough, you're like,
okay.
Do you? We could. No.
Do you really? You want to shake on that?
No. Like, you know, and I think there could be so many, you know.
Why would she wait to do it while he was in hospital, though?
Maybe because then she's not the only culpable person.
Yeah, but she
could have blamed
She could have put that insulin anywhere.
She could have put it in a sharp spin and they probably never.
She could have drove down the Mitchell Freeway and flung it out the window and it never to be seen again. Yeah. But no, she put it in a toilet, Panicked. Not even in a sharps container. You're in a hospital full of sharps containers. Yeah. There would have been one in his room.
Well, maybe she did put it in a sharps container. No, there might not be one in the toilet. But yeah, I think I'm assuming she threw it in a bin in a toilet in the hospital. That's what I believe happened. But I think...
She must have been at her, honestly though, when you think about it, to make all those mistakes, she must have been at her wit's end.
And she was probably thinking, if I do this here, he won't come home.
No, you do. Well, they saved him because that's what we do in hospitals. Well, exactly. We don't let them die.
Yeah, well, she should know his
his blood sugar's low. Let's give him some glucagon. Oh, he magically comes back.
Yeah, I know, right. Yeah, not ideal.
Poor thing. I mean, I again can sympathise with her because she's obviously not
coping.
Cruel. Like she's not. I mean, we don't know what kind of care she's giving him at home. She might be an absolute abusive
But then
carer.
That would have gone to, like, social work. Like, that would have been something, like, if he's covered in bed sores or if he's, like, clearly been abused.
You would assume.
And if he was malnourished because she wasn't feeding him properly, like, you know, that would have been picked up on admission. Like, just interesting.
It's a very That's very tricky.
I wonder how the jury is going to perceive it all, and I'm excited to sort of follow it and see.
And how much, what her story is.
And why, okay.
And I feel like there's a lot of unanswered questions too around the insulin and the situation in hospital.
I had a bag full of them and that one was empty, so I just chucked it in the bin when I went to the toilet. Like, is that...
Yeah, I just disposed of it in the hospital.
And I mean, playing devil's advocate, if it wasn't her, if that didn't happen...
And it would have been his insulin anyway. Her DNA should be all over it because she would have been giving it. Yeah. I mean, that's a very good defense too.
I mean, it's probably not strong because why would you choose that moment to dispose of rapid acting insulin?
But why was anyone looking for it? Like, what triggered?
Well, because his sugars had been normal in the hour or two before.
But how many patients have you had whose sugars have plummeted and you've not thought anything of it?
But I mean... none, because I always think something of it.
Yeah, but you don't think someone's injected them with insulin, especially if they recover very quickly from glucagon. It could have just been, he hasn't had enough to eat. Or
I don't think I've ever given glucagon.
I've only given glucagon
I check
once.
it every time I check the crash cards. I've never given it.
Like it wouldn't initially trigger to me, we better go look for some insulin because this man's been overdosed.
Interesting.
It might trigger to me that this man hasn't eaten. Maybe he didn't eat his dinner. They got given it and then he's crashed
he could be on like peg feeds or something. So I wonder.
You've brought a case that's
got
too many questions. Yeah. And now we have to wait and do a follow-up in April.
I know.
We might have to we might have to live podcast record watching the streaming. You need to put this in your Google Calendar as a thing to follow up if you have the date and the time.
Oh, yeah, I actually do.
Yes, we need to do that.
All right, we'll do that.
And we'll follow that up because you've just left me with about 1,000 more fucking questions.
Well, because I couldn't figure out why I couldn't find any more information, and then I realised it's because she's awaiting sentencing. She's in prison at the moment.
I'm going to really piss everybody off because so's mine.
Waiting.
We're
just going to leave everyone with question marks.
Leave everyone hanging. But this.
I've got a picture of her though. Did you see it?
Oh, I used to work with I'm gonna send that to people that I know because I used to work with a nurse.
She looks so normal. She looks like
Wendy. Did you say Wendy?
Wendy Sim.
Yeah, I used to work with a Sims.
No, SYM Sim.
Yeah, but I don't know.
She just looks like every nurse I've ever worked with.
Yeah, does she do night shift?
She looks like a theatre nurse.
She does look like a theatre nurse. I'm going to send that to my Perth friends and be like,
Put this on the stories if anyone recognises it.
Yeah, I suppose it's been in the newspaper, so that's okay.
Yeah,
we can do that.
Oh, her name's on, it's ABC News, WA Today. Anyway.
Interesting.
I mean, she looks like a nice bird.
Yeah.
Actually, she's a boomer.
Yeah. Well, I can't trust them boomers. They got shit to deal with.
So I think it's incredible that she got caught, really.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I also wonder if she
even did it.
Yeah, I have questions. Yeah. Yeah.
She'd be the only one that wants him dead.
We don't know because he. And I reckon her
suicide note was worded very carefully. It wasn't like.
Yeah, but
I killed him. I'm going to be with him.
I get that I wouldn't want to stand in court of law and try and prove myself innocence to everyone.
The other thing I thought, if she had just waited 2 months, he was gone anyway.
I know. Well, my case, this is going to be short and sweet today, which is good because we don't have time for this. My case is really recent as well. It's even more recent than yours. So there's like no details on the nurse's background. And trust me, I fucking searched high and low.
Yeah, same here.
One Reddit thread I found on her had a comment left saying, I found her Facebook and I was alarmed at how many obituaries she shared.
Oh.
That's shocking in itself. I'm not sure a nurse should share a patient's obituaries. Anyway.
I mean, I look at them, but I don't
I look at them too. I wouldn't share them either.
Just go through that arcade in town and look who's on the notice board at who's died.
Anyway, I think that she this chick's pretty hardcore. So I've got Heather Presti. She's a 41-year-old Pennsylvania nurse who first got her nursing license on July 31st, 2018. She's held numerous nursing positions, like I'm talking 11 facilities.
Red flag
right from the start. And that was over the 6 years before she was initially charged with 2 counts of homicide. So she was known to have worked at multiple different locations across West Pennsylvania and had discipline or disciplinary action taken at 11 of them for abusive behaviour towards staff and patients. She was either fired from or resigned from each facility.
Oh, my God.
That's a tale as old as time.
Yeah, tale as old as murder.
So I was reading a lot of news articles. There was so many news articles on this chick, and a chilling detail that came about, and it was worded, the newspaper article was like, Presti's connection to serial nurse killer Edward Cullen.
Oh.
And I was like, righto, how's this connection coming about? So basically it said that a chilling detail about her previous job prior to becoming a nurse in 2018 was found by the detective that worked the Edward Cullen murders, alleged that Presti might have been experimenting for years before she moved on to humans.
Ugh.
She was a vet tech. One of her primary responsibilities was administering anesthesia to animals, but also euthanizing them. And apparently Cullen did something similar, like practice for years before he moved on to humans. So that's the connection. Then they're not related. There's like nothing else. I was like, oh, what a letdown. Fucking clickbait.
Oh, he wasn't her uncle.
Yeah. In May 2023, Presti was arrested in her home on charges of homicide and attempted murder, aggravated assault, neglect, and reckless endangerment. Authorities launched an investigation after victims' relatives alleged in a complaint that the nurse who was involved in improper administration of insulin to patients under her care. There were 3 victims who were all transported to hospital because of low blood sugars immediately after a shift that Presti had care for them. One patient died on December 4th and another patient died on December 25th in 2022. They were 55 and 83 years old.
Say December 25th?
Yep, Christmas Day. Ugh. The 3rd victim was given an unhealthy amount of insulin on August 31st, 2022, but survived following emergency hospitalisation. 2 of the 3 patients were not diabetic.
So she worked in a nursing home, did she?
Yep. So she began working, well, they're not called nursing homes. She began working in Quality Life Services, a skilled nursing facility that provides short-term rehabilitation all the way through to hospice care on May 23, 2022. She quickly became the interim director of nursing and worked there until November 28, 2022.
She's been a nurse 5 minutes.
Yeah, I know. The irony is that her position as the interim director of nursing likely meant she was involved in investigating some of these cases, abuses that she was accused of. But by the time the full investigation was underway, Presti would no longer work there.
It's like doing a VIMS and then investigating your own VIMS. You probably do that, do you?
All the time, yeah. Presti was in custody when Presti was in custody for those initial charges, she actually confessed to trying to kill at least 19 other people at the facilities that she'd worked at during 2020 through to 2022.
Jesus.
Well, she was, because she never found out until she was
No, but she only tried to kill them and it didn't work.
No, wait. All the places of employment were rehabilitation and aged care centres. 19 patients aged between 43 to 104. After the investigation, she had been accused of murdering 4 patients and 17 counts of attempted murder, basically by giving lethal doses of insulin to all of them. She's also been charged with mistreating an additional 22 patients, and typically Presti would administer the insulin during the night shift when staffing was low and emergencies would not prompt an immediate hospitalisation. If Presti sensed a victim would pull through, there was a pattern of her taking additional measures to try and kill them before they were sent to hospital, either by a second dose of insulin or an air embolism to ensure death. God. In all, 17 patients who were under the care of Presti have died, although she's not been charged, only officially charged with 4.
Shit.
The other 2 murder charges are, so we've got those 2 from December. The other 2 murder charges are for patients at Sunnyview Nursing and Rehabilitation Centre, and they were on March 24th to 25th, 2021. She allegedly intentionally administered insulin and an air embolism to a patient with intent to kill, but which ultimately caused his death. And then again on April 30th, she administered insulin to a patient, again leading to their death. Pennsylvanian. I always want to think of those little animals from like Sylvania waters when I say Pennsylvania. Anyway.
I was thinking of Transylvania.
Yeah, come to suck your blood. Pennsylvania Attorney General Michelle Henry said, the allegations against Miss Presti are disturbing. It's hard to comprehend how a nurse trusted to care for her patients could choose to deliberately and systematically harm them. Her nursing license was suspended.
More common than we know.
Exactly. In July 2023, there is evidence that she complained to her mother in text messages about her patients and colleagues and other people that she came across at places including Arby's, Taco Bell, a pizza shop, and spoke of harming them. So there's all these other evidence that so one message wrote, if you get this is to her mother, if you get like this, you will have the pillow therapy. Tontine treatment.
Yeah.
Another text.
You get like
yeah.
Jesus.
Another text said, I can't with this lady tonight. She's going to get the pillow therapy and this nurse may die tonight. She also posted on Facebook. This makes me laugh so.
Oh, God.
May kill a doctor today. We've all been there. And then in a different post she wrote, if you needed to take 2 units but accidentally took 10 units instead, it could be deadly in a matter of hours.
Oh.
Why would you... Anyway.
That is twisted. I thought you were going to say she put on Facebook, if you normally take 2 units and you accidentally took 10... How long did it take? I thought she was going to ask a public question of what would happen?
How long will I have to wait? Yeah.
It's like looking at probably a Google search and be like, how much insulin does it take to kill someone?
Like that other one we looked at where their Google search was how to dispose of a body.
And what would happen if you injected bleach? Classic.
In Presti's probable cause affidavit. Dun, 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 dun,
it looks like that's how it looks when you
affidavit. She claimed mercy was her motive.
Yeah,
she felt terrible about their poor quality of life and hoped they would slip into a coma and pass away.
Fuck off. She was just annoyed. She just didn't want to deal with them.
She claimed that a 73-year-old victim asked her directly, stating, "It was a very busy night and he asked me to kill him." One article that I read that was talking about the mercy side of it. She's like, I questioned this statement and asked if the murders were a way for her to relieve stress or just lessen her workload.
That's true. She's obviously very quick to get irritable. She's very quick to, if she's pissed off with someone in Taco Bell and wants to kill them. Yeah. Wouldn't take much to make her snap. Is that her?
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Look at her. She looks sad, doesn't she?
She looks like a toad.
I'll just read you this sentence from the end of this article. What strikes me is how often convicted healthcare serial killers claim to act out of mercy. I've researched healthcare serial killers who kill for the thrill of it, to impress someone, out of anger, spite, revenge, annoyance and sadism. But mercy, I'm still waiting. I was like, yeah.
I don't, and that's the thing, maybe my lady, it was mercy.
Yeah. Yep.
Because I think if you love someone.
But then why would you lie about it? Just come clean. Don't, if
but imagine
just come
children.
Clean. Do they have children?
I don't know, but I'm just saying, if that was my Oma,
but if you're willing to do it, you have to be willing to accept.
Stand by your
conviction.
Decision.
Yeah. Anyway.
I don't think she loved these people.
No, she
did
not.
5 minutes.
Her attorneys told the media that their goal was to avoid the death penalty. They said, this is
no one fucking dies on death row anymore anyway.
Up in Pennsylvania, they do.
Yeah, but they sit in prison for 12 years before they get their last meal.
So they should. This is a very complex, serious matter. Miss Presti has a formal arraignment. Had her formal arraignment yesterday on the first set of charges previously filed by the PA Attorney General's office, and in addition, she had a preliminary hearing on this new set of homicide and attempted homicide charges. The goal from the very beginning of these matters was not to have the death penalty imposed. We are in pursuit of this goal. So they're basically saying that she's guilty and we just don't want her to be on death penalty. We just want her to get a prison sentence, right? So they're not saying that she's not guilty. And I'm pretty sure she's not saying she's not guilty. So she says Presti's been held in without bail in the Butler County Prison since her arrest in May 2023. She is frustrated with her legal team. During a status hearing last week, they have asked, and this article was literally written 2 days ago, they have asked for a 90-day continuance for her to review a portion of the discovery. Presti states, I have reviewed enough of it. I want to sign and be done. She said, it's been 10 months. I confessed. What's the big deal? Her legal team said that she must finish reviewing all the discovery or else she can't make a truly informed decision. There's a lot of medical records to review, so it's voluminous and time-consuming. Her legal team, this made me laugh too. Her legal team stated, it might sound trite, but she is remorseful. She's like, just hurry up, let me fucking sign it. I'm tired of sitting in this county prison. I want to get on with it.
You know, the thing I don't understand is it's like, I've killed these people, but don't kill me.
Oh, yeah. I don't deserve to die.
I don't get that.
Someone give us some insulin.
I mean, there's a whole other argument for capital punishment, yay or nay.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I think they've already committed the crime. Like, they have
multiple
taken the lives
times.
of multiple people.
Like 17 people is like a serial killer.
But that's also like your life is not worth more than 17 people's lives.
No, and we pay for your life than to sit in prison. Like our taxes, well, not our taxes, but Americans' taxes. Well, I suppose our taxes too.
I think if you commit murder, like, you're expired. Your time's up. See ya.
Yeah, I mean, look, my granddad, he used to say, if you're over 80 and in hospital, you don't deserve to be there. It's a bullet and get out. You're chewing up the healthcare system.
Jesus Christ.
He also made it well over 80 and ended up in hospital. She goes back to court in May.
Oh, yeah. We could definitely do a double follow-up.
Double whammy. I mean, I think 100% she's going to jail for life, whether she's on death row or not. And I think
she deserves to go to death row.
I think she deserves literally everything that's thrown at her. Like imagine how many people she hasn't. Like they went through and investigated all of the patients that she's ever been looked after and found a huge number of patients that were like they can't charge her on all of them, obviously, because there's you can't always link them to it. Yeah. They can only link them to the 4.
Especially if
17 attempted murder charges.
Yeah.
And 22 cases of neglect and aggravated assault.
I think I've seen it firsthand, like the anguish that families go through when you need to put your loved one into care.
Oh, it's awful.
And also then seeing it secondhand, as a nurse and watching people go through that process of needing to go into care and how painful it can be, and also for the family members and the carers of these people who they essentially are submitting their most valuable person, their most precious possession to strangers and entrusting them with their most precious thing, and I don't know, I feel like it sounds so cliche, but nursing is such a privilege, and we get to be there for people, I don't know, and we really are entrusted by strangers with their loved ones that they could care for 10 times better than we do, but it's that they can't, and that's usually why.
I literally said to a patient the other day, because she's like, I don't trust the system. I was like, you don't need to trust the system, but you need to trust us. We're your system.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, we will do everything we can to make sure this experience is the right one for you.
Yeah. It just sucks that there are so many nurses, and you see it. You look at some of your colleagues and you think, well, you could have done that better. Or that person's been sitting in a wet pad for a while. it's shit, and nursing's fucking hard, and I'm not dragging anyone because most of us do our best.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like
there's always opportunity.
Oh, and it just sucks for the people who are doing the right thing.
And I just think I know we sort of make light of these guys and we're like, oh, nurses who kill. Think about the people on night shift. But like at the end of the day, there are more actual good nurses out there than these guys who really do.
And there are so many people who are so committed to being good nurses.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who just see it as their job and who just come to work and do the bare minimum and go home, which is bullshit. And I'll always have a fire up the arse of those people.
And I think, too, the other thing is, like, we really have to get better at speaking up.
Yeah.
And communicating for safety and actually voicing our concerns when we have them. Why do you think this lady managed to kill all those people and go into 11 different care facilities in 6 years?
Yeah, fucked.
Like, you know, I'm going through recruitment at the moment and I'm like, why aren't you questioning why they've left so many jobs? Yeah. Why aren't you fully questioning? And it's
usually because they're desperate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's right. A lot of those places just employ them because they need staff and they sound great.
I feel like we say this a lot, but like if Kelly reported someone and then I reported that person as well, there's way more power in that. It's not personal. It's not like, and if Kelly had an issue with a person and reported them, and then I had an issue with them too and reported them, like they're isolated incidents, but it shows a pattern.
And you need to not talk about it with your colleagues.
Absolutely.
Like you cannot be seen to be bullying.
Yeah.
So if I see someone do something bad and I report it and talk to my manager directly, but then I don't come and say to you,
but put it in
like,
writing.
did you see Jess? Like I don't know what she
Jess.
did, but I don't trust her. Like I don't think she gave that patient the morphine. I think she switched the syringes. And then you're like on the lookout then too to trip her up.
Yeah.
But then it comes out that we had a conversation about it.
Yeah.
That doesn't
we
work.
We were stalking her at work.
Yeah. That's right. But I think like we have to be really smart and, you know, communicating. I'm literally working through the standards and stuff at the minute.
It doesn't just go for people trying to kill people. It goes for anything that you see that you know, is inappropriate.
And I think sometimes people don't know that what they're doing might be a little inappropriate or a little not, maybe
totally
they're
correct.
not doing what the patient wants or listening to the patient or, you know, just even like those little things that, especially in aged care, I mean, the patients have so many rights these days, as they should.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's our job to make sure that they're happy and comfortable. And just because they don't want to shower at 8 a.m, but we want to shower them at 8 a.m.
I don't want to shower anyone at 8 a.m.
I don't want to shower anyone full stop. No.
I feel like I remember when I first started nursing, I was a year out, like I was, so obviously, I don't know if everyone knows this, but after your first year of your RN, you can usually go straight into a PCA job in Victoria. I don't know how it is in other places. But so I went and worked as a PCA in our town after my first year of my RN training. And I would say to the residents, you just tell me what you want and I'll do it.
Yeah.
That was literally, I was like, you tell me how you like things and I'll just do it the way you like it.
Yeah.
And the amount of nurses who said, oh, you'll be building a rod for your own back. I'm like,
good.
Hang on. And you get all this teaching at uni about person-centered care and about this nursing home is their home. And I would look at them and I think, well, they're happier when things are done their way. And, like, some of them like their clothes laid out on the chair. Some of them like to choose their own clothes. Some of them don't like to choose their own clothes. Like, and I'm like, I just want to support them to make the choices that are right for them.
Yeah.
And to make them feel like I've done a good job with their care. No, the amount of people that told me that just get on with it, stop.
Yeah.
Like, you're wasting too much time asking them what they want, just do it. God. And, like, to cut the showers, like a 3-minute shower, fuck that. They're sitting there going, oh, that's so nice. I'm not going to turn the fucking tap off. Like, that's cruel. I know how good it is having a good shower. And I'm like, I wish someone had scrubbed my back.
Yeah.
So good with their brown moles and sunspots. And I mean, I always put gloves on when I put cream on.
100%.
On anyone, actually, for that matter.
It was, I'll never forget, I had one patient and he'd had a stroke and he was like, he was only in his 60s and he was an old shearer and his life basically revolved around shearing in the pub, and then he had a stroke and so he was in hospital and he had quite a left dense hemi, so he couldn't do anything with his left. Anyway, he would want to shower and shave himself like by himself. So and this is where I worked in a small country hospital. There were only 6 aged care beds, and I was the EN and there was 1 RN, and so I did all the personal care. So I would push him into the shower, set him up with his razor, with his soapy face washer, and I'd be like, be back in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Face first, ass
yeah. Or do whatever you want, I don't care. And then get the other patient and take them in, because they were a full shower, do a full shower on them, and then, dry them off, chuck them in the bed, take 15 minutes or whatever, and then go back into old Charlie, and he'd sit in there and he'd have half his face shaved. The other half of him didn't exist. And I'd be like, you done? And he's like, yep. And I said, right,
can I... Could he feel the other side of his face?
Well, because of the hemi, he just didn't have any... He didn't have any
and he
awareness,
couldn't, movies,
spatial... No, he couldn't... It just didn't work for him. Anyway, I'd be like, can I do your other side?
Yeah.
And he goes, no, like, only if you have to. I'll be like, you can see yourself in the mirror, mate. Like, because he would go to the men's shed like really regularly. I had a mate that would pick him up. So, and I used to always tease him about having a girlfriend at the men's shed. He's like, no girls allowed. And I was like, no, I'm talking about the dog, mate. Like your puppy dog. Like, and he's like, anyway, it was very funny. Back then it was funny.
Sure it was.
So then I'd finish him off, finish his shower off, dry him off. Yeah, and he always had these big old blackheads on his shoulder from like years of shearing, and they would get really sore. Honest to God, they would get massive.
Dilated core of whiners.
And so after 15 minutes in a steamy shower and his skin's all soft, he'd be like,
push him out.
Yeah, he's like, go for it.
I
was like, he made my day.
I had an ex-boyfriend. I had a boyfriend in high school who had really good blackheads.
Honestly, these, and like because he'd get all steam up and everything, and I would just get 2 face washes and just go to town. And he and then
that gets I'm salivating. That gets
honest
me
to
so
God,
excited.
it was so good. And he was like, and because it would stop the itching on his back and everything, he loved it. And I was like, me too. I loved it too. But then I'd get so hot in that fucking steamy shower, I'd have to go home to my nurse's quarters just because I change uniform, because you get so hot because you want it so hot for them.
I used to get so sweaty in the showers.
I used to take my shoes off. This is so gross. I'm surprised I didn't end up with tin here. I would like literally shower the patients with no shoes on.
Oh my God, that's smart.
Country nursing for you.
Don't know why I never thought of that. Probably because I don't want them pissing and shitting all over my feet.
But they never, because I did it like every day. They never did. And I had a system, and I could have them all showered and up and in the dining room ready for their 8:30 breakfast.
Do you know?
Chop Charlie's bacon and eggs up for him. He had bacon and eggs every day.
Oh my God.
And then there was a little old lady there. It was so off track, but anyway, Kath, and I would feed her and I would ask her the questions, right? I'd say, Kath, what is the secret to a long marriage? Because her husband was a patient in there too. And she had terrible dementia. She'd just look at me and she'd say, yes, dear. And I was like, that's what Cam says to me all the time. Secret to a long marriage is yes,
so
dear.
You're going to say turn your hearing aids off.
And then I said to her one day, what's the secret to a long life? How have you lived so long? And she looked at me and she goes, just keep breathing. She did tell me one day when I walked in, were you too busy to brush your hair this morning? So, she wasn't always nice.
Yeah, great. I used to get, I used to get this from all the old people. Jesus. You're big. You play netball? What's your last name? That's what people like to ask you in the country, what your surname is.
Yeah, because I want to know where you're from.
Yeah, they want to know what'd your mother eat when she was pregnant? Why are you so big? Jeez, I used to get so offended when they say me and because they're, I don't know, old people just think I'm huge.
Old people
I'm a lot bigger now than I was.
Old people are arseholes, really.
I know.
Sometimes they're fun, though.
Oh, it's totally inappropriate. Do you know, I'll just tell you a quick story about when I started in aged care. Someone told me the story. I can't remember who it was. And they were like, just don't do what so-and-so did. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, they used to have a pair of, like, gum boots that were, like, communal, so you could wear them in the shower.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, I know, right? Anyway, so they said to whoever it was, say her name's Jane, they're like, oh, yeah, when Jane first started, we said don't forget about the gum boots. And we came in and she'd put the gumboots on the face. Funny. Oh, could you imagine this little old lady sitting in the shower with gumboots on?
Could you imagine hurting these patients though?
No.
Like these stories.
I had so many faves.
Like Kath used to breed wiener dogs, dachshunds.
Yeah.
And she used to have these little stuffed dogs, right? That she would just pat because she was in like one of those big recliner chairs. Like she couldn't walk.
Princess chair.
And I used to set her hair in her. I bloody loved her. She was so fun. Anyway, one day her daughter came and had brought some puppies in of these dachshunds. And so we'd taken the stuffed ones off and put the live ones on her. But she woke up from her sleep.
Oh, God. Thinking her toys had come to life.
Because she had these like real lucid moments at time, and then other times she had no lucid moments. But she was like, they're moving, like it terrified her.
That's great.
Took her a minute to realise. And then she was like loving on them like because, as old people can do. But I just can't imagine wanting to hurt them. No. Like I get there are patients that you just think, I can't deal with you. The ones that want to grope you or slap you or kick you when you're cleaning their feet or, I
just always saw it as a personal challenge to win them over.
Same.
And I remember one lady that everyone used to avoid like the plague. And I was like, she just knows how she likes things done. She's been bedridden for 11 years.
Yeah.
And she knows how she likes it. And she knows how to keep herself healthy because her mind, sharp as anything, and her body just couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
And I used to just take it as a personal, mission to make her love me and to not let – and this is something – the best – and I'll say this again. I had the best – supervisor, preceptor when I was training there. And she said to me, don't let other people's opinions of this lady affect you.
Yeah.
And that was the first time. She was amazing. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know where she is now, but amazing. And any time I talk about my favourite preceptor, it was her because she was just so incredible. And,
We've got a patient that I've had to win over in my new role. And I did that. I was like, I've heard all the stories, but he doesn't know me. Yeah. And I actually don't know him.
Yeah.
And so I literally think I've made a difference.
About. Yeah.
Just from being present and talking to them and and they're, chronically ill patients. And
if it's who I think you're talking about, he's so smart. And he would respect you and respect your presence and respect what you're bringing to the table. I think he's very proud.
Yeah, 100%. And you got to, if you live your life completely dependent on medical treatment, you have to, and you're smart. He can manage his condition exceptionally well.
Yeah.
And, and I think it would be hard. And I can understand that you would push the limits. But I just made sure from day one there were no limit pushing.
And that
he pushed limits and I pushed back.
Yeah.
I was like, it's pretty simple. But I think, we don't butt heads anymore.
Yeah.
And he tries sometimes and I'm like, you want to fight? You want to fight? Let's have a fight.
Let's do this.
In my head I was like, let's get ready to rumble. Yeah. One day he caught me and I'd been in I was in the worst mood. I had walked out of a meeting with more questions than I'd walked into the meeting with and more jobs. And I went down there and I walked in the door and he literally started on me. And I was like, let's go. Stood at the end of his chair with my arms crossed. And I had I should have stood there in power pose, to be honest. And I was like, yes, I'll listen. And then he spewed what he wanted to say out. And then I said, right, here we go.
You happy now?
I'll give you back.
Finished?
I can counteract everything you just said to me. And I didn't, it wasn't mean. I just stated facts. And I was like,
you just meet him at his level.
Yeah. And I said, if you're not happy, I'll help you find another specialist, another centre. No problem.
Yeah. See ya.
You want to go somewhere else? Back down real quick. Next day when I seen him, he was like, good morning. I was like, how are you? You good? Good? Happy? Everyone's happy?
You're like, I've heard of a nurse who used bleach.
Yeah.
On
renal patients. Yes, we had to bleach clean that machine the other day, actually. Yeah.
Might have used a bit too much. How you feeling?
We shouldn't joke. That's terrible.
No, shocking.
Shocking. Well, that was great.
Well, that's what it says. We made it through our first episode back, so I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, well, technically second episode back because we'll drop the
debrief first.
So yes. Welcome.
But we love a good Nurses Who Kill to kick off the season, set the tone for the year. Can you tell? Look at this, 44 minutes.
I know.
Bloody brilliant.
And we just spent the last 15 minutes talking about not Nurses Who Kill.
Yeah, I
know. Why don't you go and leave us a killer 5-star review?
You are so smart.
Leave a comment. You can leave a comment on Spotify.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And someone did recently. Did you? No, they left an Apple review. Thank you.
Thanks. We love reviews.
We do love reviews.
Kelly's got one on the wall.
My 1 star.
Right above the recording
Thanks,
station.
what's her face? You'll live in my head rent-free forever. Not in the way you think.
Back from April 2021 too.
Yeah. I wonder if they still listen. I bet they do. I bet they hate listen to us. Doesn't matter. It still counts.
You still get your ratings. Jump onto our Facebook page. Search up 2 Humorous Nurses. I'm sure you'll find us. You can follow us on Instagram too at 2 Humorous Nurses Podcast. That's humorous like the bone.
HUMERUS.
Boy.
Boy.